Welcome back, and it's a bit of a different location for today's video. I was just finishing my day job at the radio station that I work at here in Barrie, and I thought, why don't I do a video at an arena? I know it's not the booth at the Saddlein Arena, but we'll do it here. There's some news coming out of the Barrie Colts in regards to a trade. They have sent Tyler Savard to the Kingston Frontenacs for an 8th round pick. So that trade, sending Savard to Kingston, kind of clears the picture a bit for Barrie's overager situation. They still have 5 OAs listed on the roster. That includes 2 goaltenders, Ben West and Anson Thornton. You also have 2 defensemen with Connor Punnett and Josh Kavanaugh, and then Jordan Frasca, the forward, who's still with the Toronto Maple Leafs with the camp. We have not yet heard when Frasca will be returning to the Barrie Colts lineup. The Leafs, they're playing in St. Thomas tonight against the Buffalo Sabres, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Frasca will be returned to the Barrie Colts in time for tomorrow night's home opener, but either way, the Colts still have some decisions to make when it comes to the OA situation, whereas the Kingston Frontenacs, they only had 2 OAs as of today and decided to pick up Tyler Savard, who is a pretty solid forward. He brings that sandpaper kind of game. The Colts, they did pick him up from the Sioux Greyhounds at the OHL trade deadline last season. And, you know, Savard, he brings that grit. He has that nose for the net. He did get into some penalty trouble with the Barrie Colts in the playoffs against the Hamilton Bulldogs and the North Bay Battalion. But when you do get that reputation in the league of being that player that pushes the line, the officials do tend to take notice, and when they see you in a scrum after the whistle, you're more than likely going to be sent to the penalty box. And unfortunately for Savard, that seemed to be the problem last year in the postseason. But other than that, he does bring a solid two-way game to the Kingston Frontenacs. I think that's something the Fronts were missing. Gene and I, we did our OHL season preview in my last video. We touched on Kingston briefly because, of course, they wanted to host the Memorial Cup this year, but their bid fell short. So you can look back at that video. We talked about Kingston a bit in that, and also talked a bit about the overager situation with the Barrie Colts. So it got a little bit more clear today with Savard being sent to Kingston. As I said, we're still waiting for Jacob Frasca to be returned from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Still also waiting for Edward Chalet. Of course, he's probably going to stick around with the Seattle Kraken for a few more weeks, I'm guessing, because he's a very promising prospect for the Kraken, but he will be a great addition to the Barrie Colts when he eventually makes his regular season debut, unless the Kraken decide to keep him up there, although I don't think that's going to be very likely. Also to note, there was a big trade yesterday. Gene and I talked about it in the video yesterday about Michael Simpson going to the London Knights. He's another overager, goaltender who's going to be huge, I think, for London as he returns to his hometown after winning the OHL championship last year with the Petes, and that kind of starts a bit of an arms race in the West. We still want to wait and see what the Saginaw Spirit will do in response in regards to their goaltending. And speaking of goaltending, the North Bay Battalion, they will have Dom DiVincentis back. The Winnipeg Jets just released him this morning, so the Barrie Colts, they play North Bay tomorrow night at the Saddlein Arena for the home opener, and expect to see Dom DiVincentis between the pipes for the battalion. So that's a quick update in regards to the Barrie Colts roster and trades, and also just touching on some other things around the Ontario Hockey League. Let me know what you think about the trade between Barrie and Kingston, and maybe the trade also between London and Peterborough, or whatever else you may want to touch on. Just leave that in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, as we are 24 hours away from the start of the 23-24 OHL regular season. And we will be going live on Rogers TV for that broadcast tomorrow night, and I'll have a recap after the game. Just go over what happens between the Colts and the Battalion. Have yourself a great day, guys.